Hey, good day, and welcome back to Max Nave Horsemanship and Baby Steps. And yeah, we got a baby with us, and she's a little distracted. But I want to show you something, and it's not something you haven't seen before. Well, not exactly, but I didn't show you the details that I should have. And it's got to do with leading. And you've seen both of these horses leading for the first time, and maybe even since then. But we're going to do it again. And as you can see, she's not paying attention like she should. We haven't really done anything with her yet. So that's okay. That may lead to some distractions here and some little misadventure sort of thing. And if you notice, the background's a little different. I'm kind of set up next to the trees because, well, in case you haven't noticed something else, no hat today. Yeah, because it's way too windy for a hat. It'd never stay on my head. It also happens to be too warm to have my hood up to keep the hat on, so no hat today. And although I'm sure that most of you, I don't know what your idea of a windy day is, but it's a little breezy today. And well, the big problem is that it seems to be every day. We don't get many light winds or calm days. And today it's, well, let's see, for metric people, it's about 60 kilometers an hour. For those of you that are in miles per hour, it is about 35, which, depending on where you live, that actually isn't all that windy, but it's annoying. It causes problems. And when you get out in the open, it's pretty breezy. You can't see all the trees that are sheltering me at the moment because they're behind you. Unless you turned around and looked, which don't do that. Pay attention. You're watching me, remember? Never mind the trees behind you, but there's trees behind you, trust me. But I'm going to show you a couple of things here. And this is also one of the reasons that I always recommend a longer, slightly longer lead. And if you can get one that exceeds 10 feet, if you can get something like a 13 foot, which would be about 3 meters, just over, whatever, something along those dimensions, even better yet. This is a fairly standard lead. This is nothing special. It's just what you can buy in any store. They generally come in 2 lengths. I mentioned that before. I don't know what the conversions are, so I'm just going to stick to feet because that's how they sell them. And even though this country's metric, believe it or not, you still buy these things by the feet. They're either a 6 or 10 foot. 6 foot, useless. No good for anything. If you've got a horse that's already well trained, they might be okay for leading it around, but that's about all they're good for. For any kind of training whatsoever, they're useless. No good at all. You need at least a 10 foot. And I would actually recommend even slightly longer than that if you can get it, but they're not that common. You'd have to go find one somewhere or get one made or whatever. So I wouldn't recommend anything other than that, but common, available in most places, 10 foot lead, which would be, what's that, 2.5 meters? I don't know, something like that. Anyhow, I wanted to show you a couple of things regarding leading and how to handle your lead and use it effectively. Now, I've said before, you've got to be prepared. That means when you're leading the horse, you have the lead in one hand and the end of it in the other hand, ready to use if you need it. You might not, but at least for the first few times, you definitely are going to. Pretty much guarantee that. And the idea is that if you want the horse to back up, when you back up, you can swing the lead side to side like this. You've already got it in your hand. The other option that works with some horses quite well too is spinning it in a circle like this when you back up. No, you don't get to eat the grass, dear. She's a little not paying attention. Something that you have to constantly correct. But okay, so that's something I wanted to show you is, there's 2 options, and I mentioned them before, but I want to mention them again, and you have to be ready for them, being prepared. You're leading the horse with one hand, you got the lead in the other hand. Whether you're left or right-handed will make a difference which hand, but it's pretty simple, nothing fancy to it. You got the lead you're leading the horse with in one hand, and the other end of it in the other hand, and a little bit in between. The exact lengths aren't that important, but the loose end You want it to be somewhere in the neighborhood of a yard or a meter, depending on whether you're metric or standard. And that way when you go to back up, if you have to clear your space, you got enough length to do it. It also is just enough that you can make a nice little circle in front of you, which also is effective for some horses too. Now the other thing I want to show you that is kind of important too is when you do this side-to-side thing, like this, when you're backing up, lift your lead up. If you don't, if you got your lead hanging down and that horse is too close to you, when you swing around, chances are this part's going to end up over top of that part, and you might even spin around it and get all tangled up. And you got all kinds of problems. You want to be prepared, and you don't want to be standing there trying to straighten out your lead rope. You want to have it ready to go. So that's what you're going to do. You know, you're going to lead forward, you're going to stop, and when you go to back up, if the horse doesn't back up immediately, she's actually a tiny bit closer than I'd like her to be. So I'm going to lift out my one hand so that I don't get tangled in that rope, and I'm going to, and she's too close. I'm hitting her. That means she's too close, way too close. She shouldn't be that close. I should never be able to hit the horse. I'm not trying to hit the horse. I've explained that before. When we do things like that, we're not trying to hit the horse. Never, ever are we trying. We're simply swinging this lead in my space, and if she's in it, she's going to get hit, but that's the consequences of being where she shouldn't be. And that's not because I'm trying to hit her. It's just consequence to actions. Now you notice she's keeping her distance from me now, because she did get hit by the rope once. Now she knows, I better stay away a little bit. Okay, see how this works? Very simple, very quick and effective. She's still determined she's going to eat that grass. You know, we've been doing this for a while, and I didn't even have to wait for her nose to hit the ground that time. As soon as I started lifting it up, her head came up, see? I'm not even bumping her there. I'm just doing this, and her head comes back up because she knows it's what's going to happen. That's how effective training can be. I haven't done it many times with her, but, you know, just today, first time in a week, I've had her out, and right away she wants to eat the grass, do what she wants to do. Well, it doesn't work that way. We make the rules, we call the shots, and she's going to do what I want her to do. So, a little bit on lead handling and leading. Don't get confused. This is your lead. Leading is when you move and make the horse go with you. And again, you always want to be prepared, have that end in your hand. And like I say, whether you're left or right-handed, you might do it the other way around, doesn't matter. Works the same both ways. Now, one other thing I'm going to show you, and I haven't really shown this because, well, we only tried it once just to see if it would even work because, well, you saw me at the mounting block with both of the horses. And I said that that translates to, even if you don't use a mounting block, it translates to the horse standing in front of you. That makes life easier for you when you want to get on. Well, I'm going to see if I can do that today. I've only done it once before. Let's see if it'll work. And see if she will, in fact, stand in front of me. Just a little bit further forward, dear. Just a little bit more, and maybe one more. Do one more step for me, dear. I would like you to go that way. Excuse me. You go that way. One more step. Oh, right there. Well, that's not quite where I want her. Tail end's out. If this is a mounting block, that wouldn't be acceptable. So, we're going to send her back over. You know, she gets a little nervous about that. That's okay. I didn't hit her, did I? No. Now we'll just leave her back up. We're doing exactly the same thing that we do at the mounting block. And last time I did this, you know, we had to correct her a couple times, but in the end, it actually worked. And when you're doing this, you got to watch your toes because you're at the same level as the horse's foot. So, come on, move ahead one more step. There we go, perfect. There. Now, if I was to want to get on with a saddle and get on from the ground, this is where I'd want the horse, right here in front of me, like this, standing still. And as you can see, I'm not even holding on to the lead. It's here. I can grab it quickly if she decides to move, but I don't think she's going to because this is part of the mounting block training is teaching the horse to stand still. And the consequence to not standing where you're put is, well, you're just going to have to do another loop around and line up again. Just keep happening until you get it right. And, it's not, we're not being mean or anything. But anyhow, I just wanted to show you how one thing translates to another, even if you don't use a mounting block, if you don't have one. This is the kind of thing that helps. Using an elevated surface or something like I was using, it gives a little physical structure to where the horse needs to be. Makes it easier, much easier to start with, much easier. And it also gets you up a little higher, so you're not going to get your toes stepped on, because that could happen. And believe me, if you're around horses long enough, you will get stepped on. It's not a matter of if, you will get stepped on, guaranteed. I know. Had it happen a few times, and ironically, usually by my own horses. But that's a subject for another day, which someday I might just get around to that. But this series might not be much longer, because at the moment, the only thing new that we have yet to do is trailering this one. And I will definitely let you see that. So you'll get to see that one. But other than that, that's the only thing new left to do with these guys. Doesn't mean that I'll be done with them. When this series comes to an end, I am still going to be working with these horses. I'm going to be doing this stuff over and over and over, just like I've explained to you. You got to do. Whatever you're doing with your horse, you got to repeat many times. And I don't think there's any limit to the number of times either. Depending on what you're doing, there's some things that you might do for the entire life of the horse, just to make sure it stays connected and in tune to and responsive to your cues, that you're always asking it to do something. And so that's what you're going to do. You might have to do a lot of this stuff right to the day that horse dies, or you, whichever comes first. I don't know how old you are, or your horse. Either one is a possibility. And depending how old you are, well, the horse, a light horse on average, will live to be 25 years. However, nothing says it can't drop dead at 8. That's happened. It could drop dead in its teens, or it could be like some and live to be 40. And I've actually seen horses that live to be almost 40. They were in the 30s, and I've seen them firsthand. So I know that's possible for a horse to live that long, and I do believe the world record is somewhere in the neighborhood of 56, but that's a little ridiculous. Not many horses will live that long. But I actually talked to one guy in person, and he had a horse that lived to 42. And I was reading an article one day, a guy that was doing endurance riding on an Arab, and Arabs are prone to long lives. And he was endurance racing that horse at 42. Not him, the horse. The horse was 42. I think he was in his 50s. It was quite a testament to, age doesn't matter much. So, and then of course my own horse, which is over there, she's half Arab, and I got a funny feeling she's going to be around for a very long time. Because even not long ago, I saw one live to be 36, and being that she's half Arab, and Arabs, they do tend to live a little longer than other horses. Some of the bigger horses, some of the draft horses, don't live as long. Don't expect them to be around for much more than about 20. And but it seems to be the size. The smaller they are, the longer they live. She's not terribly big, and she's half Arab, which is one of the breeds that tends to live a long time. So I am sure she's going to be around a very long time to make my life miserable. Okay, I'll miss her. I really will. I miss every horse I've ever had, actually, when I come to think of it. There aren't any I don't. But anyhow, back to the mounting block thing. She's still standing here. And we're not restraining her. The lead's loose. I mean, the only thing I did was I did bump her once when she again tried eating grass. She quickly quit doing that. And as you can see, she's standing here like a good girl, just like you want. So I just wanted to give you that as an example of how you can take something like that and apply it to the ground. You don't have to have a mounting block. You don't have to use one. But it's still something, teaching your horse to stand still when you want it to and being able to put it into position for mounting, it's helpful. It really is. And these things might not seem like fantastic things to be doing. Some people won't bother doing them. I like to do them, and well, you just saw why. Because when you go to get on your horse, wouldn't you like to be able to do this? Just have it walk up in front of you and stand perfectly still until you're ready to get on. Now this one, she's a little nervous yet, and if I jump around too much beside her like I would if I was getting on, she'll get a little nervous, but she'll get over that eventually, and that's why don't pussyfoot around your horse. That's something else and I've not mentioned, but it's also important, is don't pussyfoot around the horse. I've seen people, go, oh, shh, quiet, you'll get the horse upset. Well, they're good, then I'm going to make some noise. Because if you're always quiet around the horse, you'll always have to be quiet around the horse, because that's what it gets used to. And then when there is any sudden noises, well, I've showed you what happens when you crack a whip beside the horse. They don't get too excited about it, do they? Well, if that horse had always been in a very quiet environment and then I suddenly did that, it didn't have a meltdown. So you don't pussyfoot around the horse. Move fast. Don't be too gentle. I mean, there are times when you're first getting together with the horse and learning to get along with it, you got to move a little slow so the horse doesn't get too worried. But once the horse gets used to your company, just gradually every day get a little more exaggerated with your movements, and throw the rope around and things like that, so that the horse gets used to this stuff, because guaranteed all of this stuff is going to happen and you want the horse used to it. So this is just kind of a side thing. I wasn't planning on talking about this stuff, but I mean, there, see, bare hands still. I'm still bare hands and I'm not holding on to nothing. She's standing here all by herself because that's where she's supposed to be. Okay? So, anyhow, don't expect too many more videos in this series. I think we're just about done. Unless I come up with something like this one today. Tomorrow, unless something pops into my head, I don't think I'm even going to do a video tomorrow, unfortunately. And like I said, the only thing left to do is trailering this one, which I don't think she's ready for yet. And judging by her reaction the last time I led her up to the back of the trailer, it's like, no way. So I'm not even going to bother trying. I'm going to wait until she is comfortable and confident with me. And when I ask her to do something, she doesn't get worried about it. Yeah, she knew that was coming. You want to do that again? No. See? One of the other horses whinnied. Oh, she didn't do it. One of the other horses whinnied. She answered back. Instead of paying attention to me, she's talking to the other horse. So she gets bumped. And if she does it again, I'll bump her again. I've had to do it twice now for that reason. And you can't hesitate. I've mentioned this before too, is that you can't hesitate to correct your horse when necessary. You got to do it instantly. And that's why I saw it coming before it even happened. I actually heard the other horse whinny. I knew she was going to answer. So I grabbed hold of the lead, ready to give her a bump as soon as she whinnied. But I'm not going to do it if she doesn't. There. If she doesn't do it, I'm not going to correct her. I'm not going to do anything unless the horse deserves it. That's why there's a few things I haven't been able to show you, because, well, unless the horse does something that, if the horse is in the initial stages of training where I can actually show you the things, that's one thing. But if it's already gone beyond that point, for example, I'm not going to wave a flag at a horse that does not need a flag. Now, I'm not doing this hard. As you can see, I'm still barehanded. But somewhere, I think they're on the other side of the barn there. The other horses are there, and every once in a while, one of them calls out to her, and she answers. And it's one of those things. I'm glad this is happening in a way. It gives me something to show you. But I've showed you this kind of stuff before. But a little bit more of a problem with this one than the other one. So, no surprise it's happening. But you have to immediately correct. Because if you don't, that horse is not going to pay attention to you. It's going to be constantly distracted by everything and anything going on around it. It's going to be herd bound, which is what's going on right now. She's more interested in the other horses than me. Now she's looking at me instead of the direction of the other horses. So we've accomplished exactly what we wanted to by just a quick little bump on the nose. Not hard. You don't have to hurt the horse. You don't want to hurt the horse ever, because pain and fear, or fear of pain, is not a good motivator ever, ever. And actually, I was just watching somebody else's video recently, and they had to go help somebody with a horse that somebody else had attempted to train. I say attempted. They tried getting it in a trailer, and they blurred out the individual, but they showed what he was doing, and he was hitting that horse. If it didn't go the right direction, it got hit. And, well, that doesn't work. And in the end, got to the point where they couldn't get the horse in a trailer, period. And this other guy had to go there, who used much gentler methods, much more like mine, and he got the horse in the trailer, no problem. So fear, or fear of pain, absolutely not a motivator. Kindness, gentleness, patience. That's what you got to have. And if you're lacking in those departments, well, better work on that, because you got to have those things to work with horses, especially the patience thing. Patience, oh man, that's a huge one. If you don't have patience, the horse will teach you. I can guarantee that. But I don't have much else to show you today, and I'm not just going to ramble on for the sake of talking. I don't have something in my mind right now that's specific to what you need to know. So we're going to call it a wrap right there and move on. We got lots more to do with this one, but all stuff you've seen before. And we're just going to do it over and over, just like I said. And that's how it's going to be. So hopefully I'm going to come up with something for the next video. I don't know, because I don't think tomorrow being the next video, if I do one. The only other thing I got left is to trailer her, and I don't think she's ready for that yet, so I won't be doing that anytime soon. So I don't know what else we're going to show you. Maybe nothing tomorrow. Maybe I'm just going to spend time with the horses and repeat things, because that's what you got to do. You got to repeat things. So I'll see you on the next one. In the meantime, have yourselves a very good day, and bye.